Here we go, guys. Content warning, spoiler alert, reuniting. It's so bittersweet. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. I'm pulled over on my way home from my 25th college reunion. I'm in the Jeep in a rest stop in Fairfield, Connecticut. And it's been a weekend or a night even, of strong feelings. I did my 25th reunion Friday into Saturday, and then I'm going to a wedding on Sunday down in Florida. I don't think I truly capitalized on the great experience the wedding's going to be because I had the reunion. You know the old phrase, it never rains but it pours. It's my big, this, by the way, this is the Tom Kelly Show, the podcast where one comedian owns his life, owns his midlife crisis, finds the next step in his reinvention, whatever phrases you want to use. And sometimes it's a comedy show and sometimes it's a video diary. And this is just one where I want to make this a video diary. I want to share a moment with some of my supporters here. Some of you guys know I was up for a big job, and literally the day before my reunion, I was told I'm no longer up for the big job. And I don't know where certain aspects of my career are going next. And the hard part about a midlife crisis, or even who I am as a human being, I don't know if my answers for the future lie in the past. And this podcast has been about me looking for answers for 3 years since the pandemic. Sometimes I'm a little too heavy, and like I was just listening to a podcast with Mark Normand, Shane Gillis, and another guy. It's a podcast. The name, I should know the name of it, but it's very bro. They were talking about guys, comedians going to Vegas and hooking up with women. And here I am talking about my feelings and being gentle and whatnot. And listen, that's my experience in women's television. That's my experience. In many ways, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm one part Mr. Rogers and one part David Letterman and one part introspective comedian. But yeah, so you have that hit of it's time to transform your career again. And the thing you were holding out hope for didn't happen. And hope's a mother fudger, people. It really is. And I could get anti-religious. I'm not going to. I've been working on, going to church and being religious, but it's amazing how, there are people who have some of the things I've wanted in life who just aren't good human beings, people. They're just not. And I'm not, and again, I'm not, and fine. God wants you for something bigger. What, man? What? I'm trying to get quiet and hear the voice of God, to hear the internal monologue, and I haven't heard it for quite some time. Fine. What's the next one? I go to the reunion. The problem with the reunion is Quinnipiac's identity, and there'll be a bunch of funny Quinnipiac TikToks and Instagrams that have been on my reel. Quinnipiac's identity as a university has been that they have not found their identity in 25 years. It's growing, but they'll have a mascot. They changed a mascot. They build a building. They tear it down and reconstruct it. Quinnipiac, like me, is growing. It's becoming something bigger, but they just don't know what they want it to be. And so with their alumni affairs, they've never really have been good at planning a great alumni weekend. And to speed through it, it's my 25th year reunion, and they did it on a Friday. And so now, how many people are going to go to a reunion on a Friday? How many people are taking off to go to a party with a bunch of people they don't want to add on Facebook? But I wanted it. One, you're hoping that you're going to find that one person from your past who has a job connection, or, I always joke I'm always looking for sex or whatever. I'm looking to find love, but I'm not, you hope that maybe you'll find that romantic connection, the social connection, or maybe you'll find a memory. I find that people who go to reunions, or at least me, maybe when I'm going to reunions, I'm just not happy with, I'm trying to reunite with something that was better. And the people, I actually had some great reuniting moments. I had a great moment with my friend Ryan Kitchell, who I don't see enough. A great moment with my friend Ian Sapelli, who, he and I got into, without getting too into it, Ian was always a little too cool for school. And Ian stopped inviting me to parties because another friend didn't like me. And it's just like, Ian, we were great friends. We drove across the country together. We were roommates. And it was, well, this guy doesn't like me, so I'm not going to, I don't want that guy in my apartment. I'm like, throw a sack. And I kind of just, and I really had a point where in my life where I was having enough trouble making time for my friends who had time for me that I didn't make enough time for him. Or I said, why am I going to make time for him if I got other friends here and here and here who want to see me? Anyway, but I got a chance to tell him, Ian, I never would have driven across country if it weren't for you. I never would have really gone to play chess in New Haven if it weren't for you. There were a lot of girls who were married, who were pretty. They were in a little clique called Models Inc. The other guys called them Models Inc. There were some people I liked who I got to see, and some people I didn't know what to see. And the hard part was my friend Chris said, I have to leave at noon on Saturday. I have to leave at noon on Saturday. And that kind of changed the tone of what I wanted. And I'll tell you what I wanted. And this is the emotional moment of the show. So without getting too into it, my freshman year, somebody I loved back at home got sick. And Chris and my friend Sean Amor, and this is the night I became friends with them, I went off, and it was probably the first night I really went drinking. I went drinking in one of the freshman dorms with a guy named Justin First maybe. And I didn't know that somebody was calling my landline saying, hey, we're sending somebody to pick you up. This person you love is sick, and you need to be there. And there was another woman. I was on a floor of troublemakers, misfits, and miscreants, for lack of a better word. Dana English Hall, first floor, West Wing, Dana 1 West. And the Res Life office was literally a few feet from my bedroom. And there was a woman, Carol Boucher. And Carol Boucher, I was so annoying to her, and she loved me. She was like, she was a mom figure. I would go in and complain about whatever my 10 complaints were about my room every day to her. When I failed math first semester freshman year, she helped me find the teacher that would be the easy, I don't want to say an easy A, but she was the sympathetic C minus. So that way I never had to take college math again. Which, by the way, I always joke is the happiest day of my life. And then, listen, when the person I loved got sick, this woman, Carol, kept an eye on me. And I remember that. And, Carol, I went to a party of resident assistants because Chris and that Saturday, and I realized what I wanted out of a reunion weekend and what I want out of just when I go wandering into my past. There were all these people I kind of knew but didn't want to, there were people I knew, people for whatever reason I didn't talk to or didn't talk to me. But people, and then people I loved but didn't have enough time to talk with. But I just knew what I wanted out of my reunion weekend was just to be quiet and around people from a chapter of my life who are geographically dispersed, and to just be with them, not talk, not force things, not reconnect. And it was just beautiful to be with my friend, and another friend, Gina Grubb, Carol Boucher. And you're right, I don't know if I have that much to say to them. I don't know if I know that much other than they're married and do this and that. And, and I mean, you're right, I don't know if I have more than 10 minutes of small talk with them. But they have a place in my heart. And I wanted to give shout outs to my friend Rob Cottrell, Jess Cutrone, Jessica Cottrell, or who I like to call Jessica Dahl by her maiden name. What was nice about the reunion was this sort of weird quiet time of, I'm going to leave any minute now. And we just slowed down. And the hard part about leaving a reunion or leaving Quinnipiac is I know I don't belong there anymore. And I feel this way about a few other places in my life. I know I don't belong there anymore. But on the other hand, I want to be there. And, and I could give you the trite thing of, oh, well, that chapter is still in my heart, but it doesn't feel the same. The geography, the mountain, there's just certain things that were just special to me in that point in my life. The physical things. I mean, God, we were just talking about the physical sensations you forget, like walking down the brick walkways and the way the puddles would form on a rainy day. There was always just random puddles on the walkways because the bricks settled in different spots in different ways. The fact that right now there's leaves changing up here, whereas at Long Island, at least as of a day ago, it's still summer. Everything's still green. What I wanted and I eventually got, which was to just go there, to not necessarily be Tom Kelly, crazy comedian, making a friend. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Book me for a show, guys. I just wanted to be remembered. And the one other nice moment, but it was sort of in that weird anxiety of being at a bar and drinking, but I want to give one more special shout out to Dave D. Nicola at Side Street Grill. Dave had stand-up comedy shows at Side Street, which was right around the corner from Quinnipiac. I don't think I knew they had stand-up there until after I graduated. Again, the moments where you want to be remembered. Dave used to have headshots of comedians up, and my headshot was on the wall at the bar near where I went to college, and that had meaning for me. And just this nice moment with Dave. Dave's a gentle neighborhood bar owner. And I'm like, Dave, one of the high points of my career was having my headshot up. And before the night was over, Dave went down to the storeroom and found my headshot still framed. Thank you, Dave. And again, I wanted moments where I mattered. People remembered me. Where things you did meant something. Where connections you had as a human being still mattered. You wanted to walk into these buildings that were home to you and still feel like it might be home. You're right. I don't think I've really had that feeling before because remember, my parents still own the most important home of my childhood. And I guess one more shout out to Jim O'Connor and Mike Schleif, who work at the Ed McMahon School of Mass Communications, though I've noticed they've de-emphasized that note. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. So the story on the Ed McMahon School of Communications is that they named the TV studio after Ed McMahon. Legend has it, Ed McMahon donated $1 million because his daughter went there. And then they built this whole TV studio and called it the Ed McMahon Mass Communication Center. So legend was that Ed McMahon did not donate money, but they named the building after him, hoping he would donate money and at least have a big name to come to the opening of their communications center. And then eventually Ed McMahon, speed through stories, died so broke that Donald Trump, pre-presidency, bought his house so that way, because Ed McMahon owed money on like 5 ex-wives or 3 ex-wives and whatnot. And Ed McMahon was so broke he had to declare bankruptcy, and Donald Trump bought his house so he could live there for the rest of his days. But anyway, Mike Schleif, Jim O'Connor made me feel like I was somebody when I came back. Thank you to both of you. And I hope this wasn't too sentimental. I'm going to wrap up, man. I'm going to wrap up. But again, I'm trying to practice things like talking straight to camera, conveying emotions. But as I'm looking for what's next, and I know this sounds like a therapy session that I'm doing straight to camera in my car, but it is. And I guess that's when we talk about the human things we want in our periods of transition. Notice how I turned this into a podcast at the end. Is we want to be remembered. We want to be loved, and we want to matter. And I knew this before my college reunion. And it's weird, I'm going to my friend James and Haley's wedding down in Florida which will be another mermaid / wiki-watchy sort of reunion. But yeah, man, I want to be remembered. I want to be loved. I want to make people happy. And I want, at the end of the day, you just want it all to matter. And I don't know if I brought you guys any, I don't know if this episode will ever see the light of day. But anyway, I hope, thank you guys for the connection I have with you, for the feeling that I might matter, and giving me somebody to talk to when I can't call my therapist for $140 an hour today. Okay, there's the joke. You know what, again, fuck it up. Or I'm messing it up by trying. I don't need to try. I just want to say thank you guys. Your time, your eyeballs, your ears, your prayers, your connection, all mean something to me. And since I'm coming from Quinnipiac, where I used to have, actually the nicest moment before I go, Mike Schleif remembered my college TV show. I went to the descendants of my college TV station, and my name is on a little website, and they were happy to see me. And I guess in the honor of my old late night TV show, I say it every week, but good night, Hamden.